What is going on, Draw It To crew? Ramny here with not a tutorial video. Today I'm actually going to review Ant-Man and the Wasp. I saw it a couple of days ago, and yes, so here I am. I'm going to review the movie, non-spoilers, and at the same time I will be coloring. I'm going to be coloring this coloring page that I did. I compiled my Ant-Man tutorial and my Wasp tutorial. I put them together in one coloring page, and I'm going to be attempting to draw it, to color it with my if you guys were ever curious what I have in my Deadpool popcorn bucket, I actually reuse it, and here are my Copic markers. So I'm going to be attempting to color this drawing with my Copic markers. So before we start, you guys, I do want to say that I haven't used Copics in such a long time. I actually don't know how many of these, and I don't remember which ones are out of colors, so you might find that out. I'll probably find out, you guys will probably find out with me as I do my drawing, so I'm gonna use that. And also, if you guys do want this as a coloring page, I will put it in my website, drawit2.com, so make sure to check that out. You can download this and color it yourself, but not yet, because I want you to watch this video first. And also, I have a playlist of all of my Ant-Man and the Wasp tutorials. I have Ant-Man, the Wasp, of course, and I have Ghost, and I also have a Civil War Ant-Man tutorial that you guys can check out in the description of this video. Anyway, this is going to be uncut, so let's go ahead and get started doing the review and coloring. All right, you guys, so Ant-Man and the Wasp. Overall, I would say that this was not as good as the first Ant-Man movie, because to me, the first Ant-Man movie was a huge surprise hit. I did not have high expectations for that first movie because of all of the production issues that it had. You know, it lost its original director, who is one of my favorite directors, Edgar Wright. And I thought, you know, who was going to replace Edgar Wright as a director, because he's so brilliant. And when they brought in Peyton Reed, essentially nobody that we really know about with movies that are forgettable, I thought, oh no, this is going to be Marvel's first disastrous movie, you know. But I was pleasantly surprised. Ant-Man, the first one, was funny, and I don't know, like, it's such a breath of fresh air, I think, because prior to that, movies were funny, but they're just more action. It was action that was funny, but I felt like Ant-Man was funny with action, you know what I mean? And the Wasp, I would say, is a good balance between the two. So I did like it, but I don't think I like it as much as the first Ant-Man. So I'll say that. Anyway, so the plot of this, if you guys didn't know already, essentially it's like a rescue mission. Ant-Man and the Wasp and Hank Pym are on a mission to find Janet Van Dyne, who was stuck in the quantum realm in the first movie. We found that out. So yeah, they are on a quest to find and rescue Janet Van Dyne from the quantum realm, and that's essentially the plot of this. And that's the thing that sets everything in motion. Things happen. They take a bunch of detours. Things get complicated because a whole bunch of people come and complicate things. So that's essentially the plot of it. Okay, and so yeah, they introduced new characters. Ghost, Bill Foster, who if you guys didn't know, Bill Foster is the Goliath, Black Goliath from the comics. So that was a good introduction. Yeah, Ghost, who's a guy in the comics, by the way, and I love that they gender swapped Ghost, because Ghost is essentially, like, he could be anybody, because she's not that well known, or he's not that well known, and for them to reuse the character of Ghost in this, I thought was brilliant. So it was a good ensemble cast altogether. I think the Wasp was awesome. Evangeline Lilly as the Wasp. She is an Avenger, you guys. Like, I can't wait for her to be introduced to the bigger MCU. I can't wait for her to meet the other like super kick-ass heroines like Scarlet Witch and Black Widow and all of those guys, because I think she's up to par with those characters, because she is that cool. This movie is small. Like, when you compare it to how like heavy and how epic the last two MCU movies were, and even like before that, like Thor Ragnarok as well, how epic those were and how sad and depressing they got. Like, Thor Ragnarok was funny, but it got depressing, you know what I mean? Like Thor, like, Ragnarok happened. That's pretty depressing. Like, I'm trying not to spoil Thor Ragnarok for those who haven't seen it. You should see it by now. Black Panther got really serious, got really deep, and of course, Infinity War was just like the ending of Infinity War was as serious as you can get. So for Ant-Man and the Wasp to come out, of course, you don't compete with Infinity War. They know that this movie's not going to be epic in scale like Infinity War. This is a smaller scale. It's a good, I think what people are calling it is a good palate cleanser. Like if you eat something really huge, this is a nice little dessert after you know. So it's just enjoyable and like really a nice contrast. And it's nice to have. It's nice to know that the MCU is like this huge thing where a lot of big things happen and also a lot of small things happen. So that's what I really like about it. In terms of ties to the MCU, you'll hear mentions of Captain America. You'll hear a lot of mentions of, you know, things that happen in Civil War. Actually, when this movie starts out, you see Scott Lang, and you know that he's under house arrest for the things that happened in Civil War. And yeah, so that's that. And of course, like there really isn't a lot of connections to what happens to Infinity War that happened in the movie, but you guys will find out. You guys will find out when you watch this movie. There are some connections to it. I'll just say that, okay? So that's that, you guys. It's hilarious, by the way. I find that this is more funny, if not funnier, than the first Ant-Man. That I'll say. Like Ant-Man was funny. This one, I feel like they're doubling down on the funny. Sometimes it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I felt like I just contradicted myself, but yeah, it's funny. Like this is it's a hilarious movie. I chuckled, like I laughed aloud a lot, and I'm not the type of person that laughs really loud in the movie theater because I'm really conscious of trying not to be the annoying person in the movies. But this was funny. Like the theater that I was watching at, they all laughed along as well. Okay, so there's all the good stuff right there. Let's talk about a couple of gripes that I have with the movie. If you see me looking this way, it's because I have my list over here. I like to take some notes down before I do my videos. So things that are bad. Number one, I felt like they made Scott Lang like a not smart. Like in the first movie, Scott Lang was like a brilliant engineer. He was smart. He was he could what am I trying to say here? He's smart. He's got a lot of skills. Like he can break into people's houses. He can hack into stuff. Like he's really skilled at that. And at the end of the movie, like he's a really good fighter as well. Like after he got trained by Evangeline Lilly's character, Hope Van Dyne. But in this one, it felt like they dumbed him down a lot more. So I don't know. I felt like that took away from his character a little bit because you think that he'd be maturing because he got into like serious stuff like Civil War. But after that, it's like, oh, he's back to his dumb self again, which is, it's good in a way because it's hilarious, but you set it up just for the laughs. It kind of takes away from the the weight of the character to make him even dumber. It's like almost as like Homer Simpson kind of dumb sometimes, you know? So that's one small gripe that I have. But overall, like I really like Paul Rudd's portrayal of Scott Lang. A couple of things about the villains. There really isn't a villain in this movie. There are people that are inconveniencing the heroes, but they're not necessarily the villains. Yeah, like I'll say it like that. So like we got a cool villain in Killmonger, we got a really awesome villain in Thanos, and then you have this movie where there really isn't a villain, and the villain is really contrived, I'll say. Like Ghost, I like Ghost as a character. She's really, like, her power set is cool, her fighting style is really cool, her backstory is kind of cool, but I felt like the backstory was really forced and you never really got to know more about the character. There's another villain here, you see him in the spoilers. He's like the mobster guy. He's in the comics, but he's kind of forgettable and he never really posed a threat. I'll just say that. He was just, again, an inconvenience. So those are two gripes I had. Not that they took away from the movie, really, because the movie is more about like I said, like a rescuing Janet Van Dyne from Quantum Realm. That's essentially it. And it's just these villains, like Ghost and that mobster guy, getting in the way of things. That's it. It's essentially the plot of this. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just different than your average hero versus villain type of story. Another gripe I think that I have is that it's not really a gripe, it's just unrealistic, I guess you would say, because here the consequences you would think would be heavier from Civil War, because Civil War, they broke the Sokovia Accords, and by doing that, it's almost essentially like it's an act of treason, right? They destroyed an airport in Civil War, but Scott Lang only got away with house arrest. Like, I felt like, I don't think so. You know what I mean? That's what's going on in my head. Like, if you committed a crime, because they broke the rule, they broke the law, right? If you committed a crime by breaking a law, destroying an airport, I think you would be more punished. Like, you would have deeper consequences, and I felt like this, like the consequence did not match the crime that Scott Lang did. And I thought, you know what, that's convenient, that's fine, and I'm glad that there's a way out of it, but I felt like it was too simplistic of a punishment for Scott Lang, and that's just a really small gripe that I have about the movie. Anyway, I think I'm talking too much now. Overall, I think this is a good filler of a movie. It's not really necessary to watch, I guess. It's not like if you were to watch only a handful of MCU films, which ones would you watch? I wouldn't count this as one of the movies to watch, just because it's a standalone movie with no big consequences to the whole of MCU. It's just its own thing, which is pretty cool. It's good. It's a small scale, but overall, in the grand scheme of the MCU, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so that's it, and that's not to say that it's a bad thing. It's its own thing. You know, it's good. I enjoyed Ant-Man in the movie. So I think that's it. It's a good filler. I enjoyed the comedy. I enjoyed the ensemble cast. Oh, I forgot to mention Luis has another one of those story moments where he tells a story, and that was one of the funniest. Luis is my favorite character in these Ant-Man movies, I think, because he's just so funny. And yeah, definitely stick around for Luis because he is such a scene stealer. Anyway, that's it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It got kind of long. I hope you guys enjoyed this drawing that I did, this coloring that I did, and I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. Let me know what you think of it. No spoilers for now, you guys, in the comment section. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you are notified anytime I upload a brand new video on this channel. Be sure to find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and Google+, and on my website, draw2.com. Again, go to draw2.com where you can find the coloring page that I colored. Make sure you can download that on my website there, so make sure to check that out. Okay, links are in the description below. Finally, that's it. You guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.